And welcome to week 9 of the NACE Starleague for your ACU Purple Varsity Rocket League team. Joseph D. Chop alongside Sean, even though that says Bear, but we'll correct that. But yeah, so you're 6-2 ACU Club Esports Purple Varsity Wildcats are going up against the 2-6 Blinn College. So this is a game. Hey, so the playoff is already clinched. They've already qualified for the playoffs. Really, this game's just going to be about improvements, going to be about just honing in on your strengths and getting ready for the playoffs next week. Sean, what are you looking to see tonight?
You know, I expect to see some nice, good old ACU gameplay. Sitting behind the production desk, I've been able to observe from the background, I'd say, and I'd like to see a lot of improvement from last week. I'm excited to cast from our little setup that we have here, running production. So please let me know in chat if any problems arise, or at any stream we have. We have that up watching. But yeah, I'm excited to finally be casting with Joseph. I believe this is the first time.
This is the first time.
We've produced and cast at the same time, but this should be, a jolly old good game.
A jolly old good game indeed. So right now, I believe we're going to be sending out to break as we get ready for the matches getting underway. ACU versus Blinn College. We'll be right back. All right, and welcome back, everyone. The match is underway. ACU taking on Blinn University, best of 5 here in Week 9 of the NACE Starleague. Sean, I mean, there's really not much to say right now. I think ACU is just kind of playing a little lax, just letting Blinn.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe they're resetting.
Yeah, in the top left there, they're talking about resetting. I guess they just wanted to double check to make sure we're all good with streaming. As most of the rules, including NACE, you just have to make sure both sides are good. So, have a quick reset and then kind of get back into the action here. So I'll throw it over back to us while we get that sorted out. But yeah, as we were saying earlier, we're expecting a nice, easy game. Nothing too crazy to see. And just looking for improvement from last week. And yeah.
Yeah, those are great points, Sean. And right now, for those of you watching, what just happened right now is just some miscommunication pre-game, whether it's about stream, about the servers. That happens when you're playing in these type of games. Nothing too big, just like Sean was talking about, just a simple reset, and we'll throw it back out to the game in just a moment. But yeah, so this game is really, think of it like the Cowboys, which hopefully they do. They clinched the playoff berth and they're going up against the Giants or something. And this game doesn't mean as much, but it talks about and speaks about the improvement that this ACU team can have going forward and what they're really going to look like heading into the postseason next week when they face off the St. Edwards of the world and the UTDs of the world, which ACU, those are the only 2 losses here in the NACE regular season.
Yeah, really good showing from ACU, only having those 2 losses. And, speaking of really good showing, securing that, what looked like a lob up, Amarok getting sort of beat out, but Wall is right there for the recovery. So just expect a lot of those tonight. Blinn University hasn't, shown any, significant threat, at least from what we've seen in the scorecards. But yeah, so as you were saying, it's been great. It's been a great season. And this is all about closing it out, I feel like, making a statement that, hey, this is the last week. Hey, it's relaxed. But, these other teams better be watching because regardless if you're UTD, St. Edwards, I think that you said, we're coming full throttle.
They're coming full throttle indeed, and right now, just a few possessions ago, we saw Amarok take a shot close to the goal, but it was just up off of the crossfire. No good. And here with almost under 4 minutes remaining, ACU with a 1-0 lead. Here we see the captain Wall switch his vehicle yesterday in their CCA quals, where they actually, speaking of Amarok just punching in, giving them a 2-0 lead. You love to see Amarok's Batmobile. I mean, he's really just showing off what it means to be Batman, as he's one of the lead playmakers on this team. Yesterday, Sean, ACU, this purple varsity team, made a huge accomplishment, making it to the 7th round of their CCA qualifiers. I believe that is the longest they have ever reached in their Rocket League career. That just speaks to the work ethic they've been putting in the chemistry both teams have, and chemistry goes in on the defensive end. Sean just right there, just missed rotation. I mean, wrong place, wrong time, just unfortunate right there. Great demo by Sozi from Blinn. Really bad rotation right there from ACU.
Yeah, you saw that Amarok was the only one back, but then he got demoed, so it was pretty much an open goal. And you can kind of see it here. I believe we saw it week 7, because I think that was the last time I was here for NACE. But ACU's kind of going for a lot more team-oriented shots. And I was just going to mention that I don't think they particularly need it against this Blinn University game. But again, they're trying to showcase that, hey, we're going to take these harder shots, these teamwork shots, because those are the shots we're going to need into the playoffs, into the harder games that are later in the season. So I expect to see, some misses, some crazy attempts, even though they don't necessarily have to, 2-1 last week. But again, wanting to see improvement, wanting to see synergy, and, maybe a little showing off if they can. Maybe a little something for the highlight reel as they kind of just kick it back and forth here at mid.
And that's really what we're seeing right now with 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. ACU's really got the lead. I think you allow a really wide open goal to Blinn, just kind of clean that up. And right now, Wall's on a fast break. Blinn sending it back out. Like you said, Sean, we're just going to be seeing a lot of shots, a lot of misfires, a lot of attempts, and a lot of that solo play, because here you can kind of get away with that. But once you kind of creep into the playoff sports, you got to play with your team. That's how you're going to win games, and that's how they won games yesterday against the Texas States of the world, and the New Mexico States of the world, Colorado States. That's how they beat those great teams. Here against a team that's not very competitive and on to the level of ACU's caliber, you can get away with those things, but we're really looking forward to see some improvement on ACU's part.
Yeah, I mean, a NACE clip is a NACE clip.
And there's the NACE clip from Wall, his second goal of the game.
Yeah, nice little flip right past everyone, right into the goal. And yeah, just kind of reiterating it, they're gonna go for these solo plays, practice, while they're a little bit lax, so that they can really tee up this next week, or whenever the playoffs are. I just know that this is the last week.
Yeah.
When it super duper matters. So it looks like we're gonna go into orange corner here. Gets 50'd over. Right back to blue side.
And one of the cool things yesterday when they did the CCA quads in the losers bracket, even though they lost and but they reached so far to the 7th round, they played some really good teams that offer diversity. And what I mean by that is you got teams that are physical, you got teams that have great defense, you got teams that have great offense. You have experience from diverse teams that have different types of game plans and fit to different types of rotations and matchups. So that really is a plus to this ACU team. And right now, just kind of on a scoring clinic, heading into the final minute, a lot of back and forth movement here in the midfield.
Yeah, last minute here. And that was yesterday was the CAA qualifiers?
That is correct, on Halloween.
So I can see that fresh off, that hard-fought battle, all those teams back-to-back. You said that then with the farthest they have, it makes sense why they're going kind of lax. I was expecting maybe some more clip plays, but at least for game one, they're just going to look to stall out here. Again, maybe try some things, open shots.
And there is Wall trying some new things with his third goal of the game, just leading the way. I think, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is like his second wide open fast break. Not much to say right there. Just kudos to Wall for using that opportunity to his advantage.
Yeah, really noticing the gaps in Blinn University's defense, just getting it right past everyone, it seems like. And Blinn kind of struggling to keep up. Will he get the second touch now? I thought he might have gone for something there. But the demos are scary. I don't know who. Sometimes I don't know who's demoed. And, 2v3 on the field, it's like pulling someone off in a basketball game or, pulling someone off in a football game. It's so fast-paced. And now you're at a man disadvantage.
And right now, Blinn's at a scoring disadvantage with 6 seconds remaining. It's safe to say right here, ACU keeping the ball on the ground. ACU takes game number 1 here against Blinn University, 4-1. Still, no one's going to score right here. And the ball hits the field. ACU taking game number 1 with the 1-0 series lead. Sean, what are some of the key things you saw? And then what do you think ACU has to do next round just to bring out the broomsticks and sweep Blinn here in week 9? Yeah,
so I saw a lot of solo play, which I think you kind of mentioned earlier, which worked out in a lot of the cases. Wall having 3 goals, really just putting it out in front of Blinn. Kind of seeing the gaps in the rotations. And, again, these other teams hopefully watch. And, hey, I hope your rotations are good because if not, Wall's going to be in the back of your goal. I'd like to see maybe a little more team plays. I'm a clip guy. I play Super Smash Brothers. I love a nice clip that everyone can get hyped to. I think, again, ACU smooth sailing after yesterday's awesome performance.
And I can relate to you with that, Sean. I'm a sports guy. I follow House of Highlights. I know what it's like to watch that ESPN top 10 and even the not top 10, but even though, we don't talk about that. But, right now you made some great points. ACU, you can get away with the solo play. You can get away with not playing a lot of team and set play offense as much when you play against a non-competitive team like Blinn College, even though they did score once here in game number 1 as game number 2 is getting underway. And maybe Blinn College maybe flips the script. They might have an entirely different new game plan. Just come out right out of the gate, guns blazing. Who knows? We're about to find out as game number 2 is underway.
Yeah, absolutely. Blinn a university that I've heard before. They have won, so they aren't, lack of a better word, as down as Houston was. That was, had 0 games, and they even changed the title of their team to, we're down horrible. But it's just level disparity, and hopefully Blinn can learn from this. We have definitely been in that same position. Even in this NACE tournament, facing teams that are just seem to be on a different level. Prime showing his different level there. Nice
And
little
that's
spin.
the
Yep.
third player of the night. Everyone on this roster of ACU varsity has scored this entire night. Everyone with at least 1 goal. Wall with 3, I believe. And it just speaks to the credit of you have a lot of playmakers on this ACU purple roster, and everyone can score in bunches at all the time. That just gives you a relief if you're the coach, Coach Anderson, coaching this team, that you have the confidence in everyone to put the ball in the net. You don't have to rely on just one person to do that for you.
Yeah, and I actually have noticed Blinn have gone up for a lot of things, but have just been off. If an ACU person's in front of them, they're going to get beat most of the time. But when it's solo Blinn, they're kind of missing those opportunities. So that's where I think Wall's kind of seeing that advantage. I was about to say, speaking of advantage, but
Nice denial right there from Blinn. They also had a good bump on Wall. It was near the goal. I think Wall was setting up. I believe it was Amarok trailing him. Wall was getting ready to set up Amarok off of a lob, but Blinn is doing a good job of getting the bumps, doing the little things, and there we go. Jay Peasy tying up the game for Blinn University. Prime right here, just a missed tap, and Jay Peasy just taking advantage of it. Amarok unable to deny his shot. 3:30 remaining, tied at 1 apiece.
yeah, that looked like a misplay from both of them there. Prime wanted a bit of a better landing on the ball, and then Amarok couldn't get in front of it inside the goal. But we'll see if ACU has a little quick response,
And sometimes you got to tip your hat off to your opponent when they take advantage of your mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what Blinn's really going to look forward to, because it looks like they can't generate any offense, but ACU has someone who can. Prime with the second goal of the game. It's such a pleasure, so fun to watch when you have your utility guy in Prime going off offensively. I mean, his aggressiveness, when he knows when to flip the switch, and when he flips the switch, the opposing defense better watch out.
Yeah, and this is definitely useful for ACU. They're not perfect. No one's really perfect, and that's what you can kind of get even from a game like this, is that you still have to have that focus, still have to put up your defense. But when your offense is this good, it's hard. It's hard.
And they say, sometimes your best defense is your offense. Amarok making that statement true. Punching in as you see the Batman flying up after that goal.
Yeah.
Man, that Batman movie coming out next month is going to be awesome.
Yeah, Spider-Man as well. I'm seeing some wall clinging from Amarok and Wall in the background. So I'm excited. And I'm excited to see what else ACU can do here. Kind of getting it over. Again, a lot of this is back and forth in the mid play as ACU.
Nice shot
Just
from Amarok.
Absolutely cut off my words. That was like a pinch off the ground. You do not see that often. Actually, Amarok hit. Okay, I thought that was Wall. But honestly, great play. Tricked me out, and I get to see it from, a perspective these players can't, right into that right side of the goal. Awesome play from ACU.
Well, it looks like ACU is still dressed up in their Halloween costumes. Amarok being Batman, Prime being Superman. I mean, that 1-2 punch right now here in Game 2 for ACU has been super, super dynamic with the 4-1 lead. 2:25 remaining. Blinn still a lot of time, but ACU's got all the pressure and momentum.
Yeah, and ACU, I believe in improving that time. As long as there's seconds on the board, you can score some goals. But, that sort of goes both ways as ACU kind of hits it back and forth. Got a demo from Orange Sozi over there, and they'll keep it in this corner.
Heading into the final 2 minutes, Sean. That's the beauty of Rocket League. No matter if there's just seconds on the board, you can still get some good goals going for you. It really just depends, as Wall tried to tap it in right there, speaking of goals, but Blinn doing a great job off of that backline defense.
Yeah, and you can see, again, a lot of airplay here. That's what we like to see. That's where those clips originate, and a lot of filling out the opponent. Again, wasting time, but at the same time, trying to practice all these long shots. They seem to come out of nowhere. ACU just bringing out the scope at any point, ready to score on your goal. And Blinn sometimes able to defend it, but that skill disparity, it gets tough.
And those long shots right there,
Yeah.
something we don't see a lot from ACU's offense. This is certainly a right time to practice these with heading into the final minute. You got a 3-point lead against Blinn. You're already qualified for the playoff. You want to try those new things here against Blinn to see if you can really install that to your offense.
Yeah, and noticing all these weird situations, it helps to have experience at one point, because as Rocket League is very close to to hit the ball in the goal, a lot of crazy things can happen.
And that is another crazy thing, the Batman.
Yeah, pushing him out the way there, it looked like, and just tapping it in right over him. Blinn not going to be able to rotate fast enough, and another Batman in the goal. Again, still wearing his costume and still getting these easy scores.
5-1 lead for ACU here against Blinn. 45 seconds remaining. Blinn, if you're really praying for a miracle, you better have dressed up as a priest or something because you've got to have a miracle right now. Down by 4. Safe to say ACU is going to take a 2-0 lead heading into their game match when you can bring out the broomsticks here in the best-of-5 series.
Yeah, and Blinn's so close to so many plays. I wouldn't say enough to really equalize the game, but I see the vision at least. ACU hopefully giving them some good practice, and Blinn giving ACU some practice. There's been some pretty nice saves. Of course, these long shots that we kind of mentioned earlier that ACU has been taking, they're still got to dial those in, but they're scary. It forces them to save it. And as we've mentioned in other goals, the more you shoot, the more it goes in. So we love that practice. And this ball is just keeping up.
And it's staying, and it touches the floor. ACU taking a 2-0 lead here against Blinn University. ACU heading into game number 3. If they win, Blinn goes home and ACU bumps up to 7-2, heading into the playoff quals next week. Sean, it's just been a pure dominant performance for ACU. I want to talk about something that you really mentioned that I really liked. You talk about practice. We've been talking about how this is practice for ACU for the playoffs, but this is also practice for Blinn. Like you said, Sean, you've been way longer than here than I have, and you recognize that ACU has been in positions where Blinn has before, and you congratulate them and you encourage them because recognizing that we've been in that same spot, you know how good they can be, and we just want to root for them in the future. Hopefully they can just continue to build their program, and hopefully when they play against awesome teams like ACU, they can really bounce back better and be able to provide some better competition in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the competition and especially the relationships, with different games. We are better acquainted, I guess, with different universities. I know with Smash, it's DBU with our crew battles. So, we got to support the other colleges and, kind of relax. As you said, we already qualified for the NACE playoffs. So kind of taking it easy. Prime had a car switch. So I guess maybe he wanted to get a clip in this car.
Really about swagger right here. And there it is. Yeah, the first goal for his car switch.
Yeah, that's swagger, as you mentioned. Prime showing out in the last game and said shot in this game too. Nice demo, Amarok there for the tip-in if need be. And yeah, showing that car off.
There's another one of your clips, Sean. I hope they put that clip together and they autograph it for you.
Yeah. Be prepared on Twitter, ACU Esports, to see some of these clips.
And there's another clip that you will see later on. Wall says, hey, don't forget about me. I can score just as good. Sozi just bad timing. Yeah. Wall dominating here under the final 4 minutes.
Yeah, just able to perfectly air maneuver there, get it over those people. Prime off the back wall. Scary position for Blinn, but it's going to get cleared out. And they're playing ping pong right now. As soon as they clear, it's going right back to their goal as ACU looks to see what can happen.
You talked about support and just really that camaraderie from other universities, from other esports programs. That's really what we're all about here right now in this friendly match. Blinn College is not qualified. ACU is. Right now, it's not about I'm higher, you're lower. It's really just about, hey, let's just get this friendly comp going. Let's just get this game under our belts, and really both teams are learning. Just speaks to the chemistry both teams have. Just speaks to the level of respect that both opponents have, and that's just beautiful. That's what you want to see day to day in sports.
Yeah, absolutely. ACU again holding the ground this game, but like we mentioned plenty of times, we have been in that position, and we have been helped by the bigger teams helping us analyze some things, sending over documents. I know Texas AMU, San Antonio, I believe, has helped me out on just some administrative stuff. So we love, especially the Texas universities, to help out and have some fun little games, even if it's more of an expedition. I'm trying to think of the word.
Yeah, expedition match.
Yeah, ACU can have some fun, look for some clips, practice their goal saving. Always a nice thing to do.
Yeah, and they've really been incorporating these long shots. We saw that from Prime earlier in the game. Really just incorporating some new tactics, new schemes on both ends. Really, maybe they can install that into the playoffs, but not a lot of time to really go over some new schemes. I think they have their game plans and the rotations in set. Now, after this game, it's really just about, facing off the St. Edwards, and against UTD, Amarok, if he can keep playing like this, Sean, UTD and St. Edwards is really going to have to adjust on the defensive end.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of not new things, as you said, but I'd like to say finalizing, right? Giving a little sneak peek of what might be happening into these next games where it really, really matters. It's the toughest of the toughest. And ACU practicing, finalizing what they like, finalizing the defense rotations, finalizing the offense, seeing what works. And that Prime following in Wall's footsteps of just beating out the entire defense. It says I see 2 orange there, but Prime just, again, easy goal, squeaking right past.
Well, with that one-man fast break, Sean, Prime just showtime in this final 2 minutes. ACU's got all the momentum, everything going for them. If you're Blinn right now, you still got some time, but you're not really showing any life on your offensive end. No shots are being created. Wall, Prime, and Amarok are really just contesting the passing lanes, making it hard for Blinn.
Yeah, Blinn having a hard time. Again, they've been close on some of these attempts here. ACU kind of reading those attempts and then turning into a kickoff, and it's hard. When you're down 4-0, 2 sets to the other team, it's hard to
down 5-0.
Yeah, it's hard to keep that mindset. But again, any other teams watching right now, ACU is in that mindset. They're gonna come off this ready to play, ready to do what it takes to win. 5-0, 1:30 left in this game 3.
And Sean, that's the message they want to send to everyone that they're going to play heading into the playoffs, is that they're being ready. They're like you said. I really like what you said. Finalizing and fine-tuning some things on both ends of the floor. Wall, nice deflection by JPZ right there. But heading into the final minute, ACU looking like a sweep. I mean, ACU, let's talk about the regular season. ACU 7-2 as they finish off Blinn University here in Week 9. Heading into the playoffs, I believe I was talking to Walt pre-game. He was telling me how they're probably going to have to face number 2 in the conference standings, which is St. Edwards, someone that they lost to about 2 weeks ago. Sean, what do you think this team has to do in order to beat St. Edwards?
I mean, yeah, we saw it with UTD, not St. Edwards, that they can score and they can perform against these bigger teams. That UTD game was, I believe, a 3-2 loss, maybe a 1-3 loss. But either way, we did get some goals on the board. We're able to beat their defense. And I think ACU just has to hold on to that. Realize that, in the game of Rocket League, everything's even when you're on the goal, the pitch. That's what I was thinking of. Speaking of even, Blinn, sort of evening up a bit, not going out without a fight.
Going out in style.
Yeah. But yeah, ACU just got to play their game, stay focused, rotate, and not get discouraged as it seems Blinn has. Because I would have been defeated, but hey, they got that gold, not getting 5-0'd, nothing but respect, and they're gonna let it in. So 5-2, ACU gonna be winning this set, 3-0, going 7-2, I believe. In the 9 weeks in NACE Starleague. First time in NACE. I believe they had this last semester, but a bunch of schools joined. So we're excited to see, how ACU can fare in the playoffs.
And that is correct, Sean. ACU taking the series sweep here against Blinn University. Blinn University, GG's to both sides. Great game. Blinn bumping down to 2-7 to finish off the regular season. ACU moving up to 7-2, confirming that third place spot in the standings with that playoff berth going into playoffs next week. Believe, like I was talking to Wall pregame, I think they are going to be playing some St. Edwards, if not a team that is on the caliber of St. Edwards. ACU, great regular season. We hope everyone has enjoyed it so far. Sean, I mean, it has been exciting. Any last few words before we end this broadcast and wait for ACU playoffs to start again?
Yeah, I just want to mention real quick. I don't know if you can see the chat. We have some Blinn fans in the chat. Mentioning a player called Rillim. I just want to say we've gone through the same thing. We've had to make some player swaps. Every team kind of goes through it, and if something like that is going on over there, hey, you got to make the tough decisions sometimes. We'd love to help out if there actually is some of that. That may just be someone's friend that's like, I want to be on the team. But I just want to mention that recently this semester, we kind of had to go through the same thing, and we got Amarok out of it, and that has proved great for us. Prime now casting. I say that as he's not casting, but he casted the last 8 weeks. You can watch it on Twitch. But yeah, great performance from ACU. Got a couple clips on there. I feel like Wall was like, let me have game 1, then y'all can do whatever. Prime kind of popped off game 2. So yeah, I'm excited to see what ACU Esports Rocket League White can do in these playoffs.
Yes, you also want to cheer them on. Final thoughts, Sean. I cannot actually see the chat, but to you Blinn fans out there, don't really know what's going on, but we just want to wish you the best. Great game. We just want to wish you the best in school and everything that you're doing, and especially esports. We just love. Hopefully you learned from our guys here on the varsity team. There's some great guys. They really put the work in, really motivate me to really just put the work in and continue to do this as a caster. And we just want to thank everyone joining in, and stay tuned next week. We'll get you the schedule going out for the playoffs as ACU starts their playoff journey next week. Joseph D. Chapa and Sean signing off and wishing you a good night. Go Wildcats.
Go Wildcats.